reimagined.
Adventure.
Who are you? I said, who are you?
Welcome everybody to Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I am currently standing in Old Sturbridge Village. I've been here for Thanksgiving, I've been here for Christmas, but I've never been here for a Halloween event. And boy, let me tell you, they have something special happening this year. Legend of Sleepy Hollow performance. The performance tonight is going to be in the pitch dark blackness of an October night. So I figured we'd take advantage of the sunlight while we had it. We have our press, they've given me my press pass, so that means we have full access to the grounds. So are you ready to visit Old Sturbridge Village, or better yet, the tucked away little hamlet of Sleepy Hollow? You are? Well then, let's get to it. So later on tonight, this is where the tour is going to commence. Ghouls, goblins, they're gonna come up this path. They're gonna gather all of the audience members and they're gonna take them down here to the beginning of the performance. If it weren't for these tiki torches that line the entire path, you wouldn't be able to see anything because you're essentially walking in the darkness of the forest. There's a lot of darkness, let me tell you. Are you brave enough to enter down this path? I am. Let's do it. I cannot recommend this experience enough. And the thing is, it's only the beginning of October. Imagine what all of this is going to look like in the deep center of the fall-autumn season. It's getting late enough in the evening now where I can start feeling that cold October air, that wind pouring on in. I think you can see my hair blowing a little bit.
My name is Jessica De Maria and I play Mirella, who is one of the guides that sort of brings us through the story of Sleepy Hollow. She's returned with her compatriots from the great beyond to tell this story every year on All Hallows Eve. So there's a mythical quality to her, but she's really there to kind of guide the audience through their adventure.
This sequestered glen is known as Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, and I think people come here not expecting to see people play instruments outside and, you know, sing their faces off, and then they get to have that too, so it's great. We sort of took some early American folk tunes, some Irish and English folk tunes. We revamped them and reset them and rearranged them to suit our performance here at Sturbridge.
Little son, pray come and tell me, it is the blood of that skinny greyhound that traced the fox for me.
Myself, David Chorus, and Leo Thomasian, who plays the other storyteller, the three of us sort of together have made these special musical arrangements.
How comes that blood on your own coat sleeve, little son, pray come and tell me?
Iron and steel is really hard stuff, but the hotter you get it, the softer it is. And that is what we call a bright orange heat.
So I hear the Headless Horseman uses a piece of edged tools, whether that be a sword or a knife. Have you ever done anything like that yourself? Never made anything like that?
I haven't. No,
No.
I have to repair things occasionally and sharpen them.
But The Headless Horseman could certainly sharpen his axe or sword right here on this, correct?
He could, easily.
Let's hope he doesn't.
Hi, I'm Austin Tijerina. I play Ichabod Crane in the show. Ichabod is afraid of literally everything, which is my favorite thing about him. He's a little bit jumpy, but he also has a lot of heart. He falls in love with a young lady named Katrina, and he has kind of a little bit of a fight with a guy named Brom in the show, and that's a really great relationship to play as well throughout. Some of his redeeming qualities, I think would be his heart. I think he's quick-witted, he's spunky, and he's not afraid to toss a little bit of wit out in response to some more aggressive behavior. So I would say he is a little bit of pathetic, but more the heart spills through a little more, I think.
I am Meagan Black, and I am playing Katrina Van Tassel. She's a very modern woman in an old time. She's very independent. She's very strong, and she's a girl who knows what she wants, and she gets it.
I love the ground whereon he goes.
This is actually my first time performing outside, so it is very different, and it can definitely get a little chilly up here in the Northeast.
My name is Sam Urdang, and I am portraying Abraham von Brunt, aka Brom Bones. The thing about Brom Bones, he presents himself as very intimidating, and he prides himself on being sort of the biggest man on campus, but he carries a lot of pain and a lot of sadness that he sort of hides through his aggression, I would say. A young love said to me, my mother won't mind. What can I add to this guitar to make it more of my own Sam Urdang's, but also Brom Bones' guitar? And so I added Cat. You know, obviously it's a classic thing for a guy to carve his sweetheart's name into a musical instrument, but also I added the 3 X's as sort of that mark of aggression. You know, it's maybe I have a hit list, I'm not quite sure.
The galloping Hessian.
Oh, the galloping Hessian.
He was a massive man, near 7 feet tall, with shoulders as broad as a barn.
Because it is in the round and it is shared light and you are directly connecting with an audience member. It's difficult and it's a different, I think, sort of style of acting, but once you sort of adopt it and get used to it, it's the most enjoyable kind, because you can see when an audience member is connecting with you and you feel that you are drawing them in. So.
Careful, Ichabod, I might slip.
That would be dangerous.
Would be, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Up. Hey.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So this is another stage or a platform where the actors will be performing tonight, and it's kind of like theater in the round because all of the audience members surround the stage. But it's also where the actors take a brief intermission.
And most importantly, do have fun. We'll be back with you shortly.
The actors come off the stage and actually interact with the audience members, ask them questions, have a little bit of fun, but it also allows the guests to refresh their beverages. That's right, we have the snack stand right over here, where you can get cocktails, you can get soft beverages, you can get autumn sweet treats. For example, if you wanted to get a Headless Horseman cocktail, spirits, a little play on words there, vodka, bitters, ginger ale, and blood orange. And it also comes in a souvenir cup. For me, I think I'll certainly be going for the hot caramel apple cider. So, spoiler alert, folks, but essentially this is where Ichabod Crane is going to see his demise this evening, right there at the covered bridge. This is where he's going to encounter the Hessian trooper, the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. And when you see this final sequence, oh man, it is something to behold. And the fact that you're actually inside of the covered bridge when it all goes down makes it that much more special.
My name is Thomasian. I play Storyteller 2. He serves, along with Storyteller 1, as kind of a narrator throughout the show.
It is, the play still continues under the sway of some witching power that holds a spell over the minds of all who dwell there.
And they kind of move the audience from one place to another. I think if you're going to do this show anywhere, New England is the place to do it. You know, it's close enough to the actual Terrytown. It kind of adds this whole historical aspect to the show, which I think is really, really neat. You know, if I were Ichabod on that one fateful night where he finds himself under the covered bridge, I don't think I would have found myself there. I think Brom would have been like, hey, like, go do this. I would have been like, no, I don't think so, you know? And, you know, the village, it's spooky at night. You know, you get kind of an eerie feeling. So I think that kind of, you know, the show kind of has that going for it also.
Ichabod is almost inviting the audience in, right? So the audience is a part of Ichabod's character. So I think I get a lot of fun time to interact with the audience and bring them in. So my inspiration is more so how I connect with the audience, more to create this new experience around Ichabod Crane, because he's also supposed to be very tall and lanky, which I am rather short. So this is not my first time performing outside. The benefits of it are the scenery, the way the moon is involved in the show, and the way that the sunset is involved in the show. It adds this incredible element of just being fully engaged and fully immersed in a show.
The sun is going down. It's getting dark. It is time to officially go into the box office. Let's go inside and get our ticket. Hi ladies, how we doing? Is this the box office for the Sleepy Hollow event this evening? Chocolate covered Rice Krispie treat haunted house. That's what it looks like to me. I'm loving the cover art of this copy of Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, so we've entered the Ichabod Tavern, and it is already busy. It's about an hour before the show, but as you can see, all of the folks here are taking part in beverages, libations, snacks, all themed to Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The audience of tonight's performance, well, they can't come down yet, but I have my press pass, so I'm gonna venture into the forest, into the darkness, while we still have just a little bit of sunlight or sunset. So although we are walking down a tiki light path, this is truly creepy. And you know me, I've done creepy things before, but they've let me in early. The entire audience walks together, but can you see? You can't see what I'm seeing. My visibility is quite low. This is not a short path. Now, I walked this earlier today. You were with me, you saw it. Do you hear the bullfrogs? So it is officially October, and I don't mean just because it's October. I mean it is cold. Now, if you listen real carefully, you'll hear my footsteps. But if you ignore my footsteps, you'll also hear the sounds of the wilderness, the great outdoors, the foreboding, tucked away places of Sleepy Hollow. Again, it's Sturbridge, but for tonight, it's Sleepy Hollow.
Welcome to the Sleepy Hollow experience at Old Sturbridge Village. Be warned, this show contains fog, moving lights, live animals, fire, and acid.
This sequestered glen is known as
Sleepy Hollow. The whole neighborhood abounds with local tales, haunted spots, and twilight superstitions. Women wail in white gowns while traitorous soldiers moan from the willow trees.
But there is one dominant spirit that haunts this enchanted region, said to be the ghost of a Hessian trooper whose head was carried away by a cannonball during the Revolutionary War. He is often seen hurrying along in the gloom of the night, as if on the wings of the wind, the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow.
On any given windy day, one might have mistaken him for a scarecrow eloped from a cornfield.
Now I beg your pardon.
Brom, that isn't funny at all.
Oh, come on, Chad.
Or else what?
You're like to lose your head.
What?
Did you see that? The master shaking like a schoolboy. Don't you like ghost stories?
No. Not particularly.
came to the wrong town. See you around, schoolboy.
Go this way. Okay.
I would weep, I would never fall asleep. Black is the color of my true love's hair.
When we have a party on All Hallows Eve, we tell ghost stories. Come now. Don't tell me you're frightened by that nonsense.
Oh, I've got one. The woman in white. She was engaged to a soldier, and on their wedding day he never came. The lady in white refused to go back into the church, standing vigil for her love through the frozen winter night. And when they found her the next morning, her skin was pale blue, but her lips still red, waiting for a lover's kiss that never came. Some people claim that during a winter storm you can still hear her calling. My beloved, have you come for me?
But the cannonball that took his life knocked his head clean off. So no one knew who he was. The soul of the unknown man is restless. And every year, on All Hallows Eve, he rides up from his grave and roams the countryside in search of his missing head.
Follow Ichabod into the bridge.
If you want to keep your head, move into the stalls.
Come on in, all the way down, folks, all the way down. Right. You're perfect, actually.
All the stories of ghosts and goblins that he had heard before now came crowding upon his recollection. He would, moreover, soon be approaching the very place where many of the scenes had begun. To be a horseman of large dimensions and mounted on a black horse of powerful frame.
Companions on this road, please tell me your name.
There was something in the stranger's moody silence that was upon him. It was soon fearfully closing.
Ichabod saw the thing in his fellow travelers and leaped against the sky. He was fantastic!
We want to come together and bring this story to life.
I talk about Sturbridge now as my other home. I look so forward to, this is my 3rd year returning, and I look so forward to coming back here every year. I fell in love with the village. I fell in love with where we stay at the Reader Family Lodges. Being in New England in the fall is just completely glorious.
This is real, this is what I'm living, this is my truth right now.
Oh, so my favorite aromatic experience. It is definitely apple cider donuts. Can I tell you that? Apple cider donuts, hands down, are the best thing about New England, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, I think in a sense there is a galloping Hessian out there kind of watching over our show, you know. I'd like to think so, at least, in a sort of wholesome kind of way, you know.